Well, showrunners, I believe you took a beloved character and massacred any trace of Tolkien's creation out of her. Does that make me sexist? Hello, this is Mara Jade, and I'm back with another video, and the showrunners for Rings of Power are still trying to gaslight people into believing they are fans of Tolkien's work, they are treating it with any amount of respect, and that they are adapting the Second Age histories, when in fact they do not have the rights to any of the books detailing events within the Second Age. They only have the rights to the appendices, and they are treating it like a Mad Libs puzzle. And now, the shill, JJ Natras at CBR.com, is claiming the writers, showrunners, are shutting down sexist Galadriel criticisms. And like I said and asked, does that make me sexist? Because I've been criticizing this character since the beginning of the season, and even before the season premiered. But they don't listen to anyone unless they fit the narrative, pretty much. Since I'm not a toxic white male, I should say a toxic straight white male, they're not going to listen to me because I don't exist in these people's eyes. But at any rate, let's just dive right into this article and get a gauge of what these assholes are trying to fucking claim yet again. So without further ado, here it is. Rings of Power showrunners have responded to sexist criticism regarding the lead character Galadriel. Yes, because they only focus on straight white males, pretty much, the misogynists, the sexists, and so forth, and they completely ignore everyone else who is criticizing this character as well, because we don't fit their narrative. Addressing complaints that Elven warrior, Galadriel was never a fucking Elven warrior. You take them one of the most powerful mages. And yes, magic has a different definition within Middle-earth, but one of the most powerful mages Tolkien created, and you reduce her to an Elven warrior, and you're addressing complaints? Yes, those are legitimate criticisms. Those are legitimate complaints because you are butchering that character. People who are criticizing this character aren't just the ones who watched the Lord of the Rings films or read the Lord of the Rings books. They're the ones who actually read the Second Age stories, Silmarillion, Unfinished Tales, History of Middle-earth, and so forth, who know this character in and out and have seen the travesty you guys, you fuckheads, are portraying on screen and trying to call this character Galadriel when she's in name only at fucking best, and at fucking worst, nowhere near the creation Tolkien wrote. Played by Morfydd Clark, who is a fucking horrible actress. That's just my own personal opinion. It's too masculine. J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay shut down detractors by saying they've not gone against anything J.R. Tolkien wrote in his beloved fantasy books. Oh, really? Oh, fucking really? You mean the books that you have no rights to? The books you have no rights to? Here, like, this pissed me off to no end. Payne told The Hollywood Reporter, "I would love to see in Tolkien where it says Galadriel never went to Numenor. That doesn't exist." No, fuckhead. No, you're adapting Tolkien's work. So the burden of fucking proof is on you to show where it actually says she did. Not where she didn't. The burden of proof is not on us fans. It's not on us critics or anything like that. No, the burden of proof is on you. So I want you goddamn asshole, to show where in his works it says that she went to Numenor. That's the burden, is on you. Is on you. You claim to be not going against anything J.R. Tolkien wrote, and then the very first fucking thing you say goes against? Then he goes on to say, second, one of her nicknames is Nerwen, which means man-maiden. It was a nickname her mother gave her mother being Teleri, alright? And it was a nickname. It really is because Galadriel was tall. That's it. Now, this is Tolkien Gateway, and it's give or take a little bit, but she was well over 6 feet. She was tall. That's why she was given the nickname. Alright? Described as the mightiest and fairest of all the elves that remain in Middle-earth. Mightiest does not necessarily mean physically. Just means strength. It can be emotional and mental as well. It's powerful. And she was one of the most powerful, like I said, mages in Middle-earth. Alright? And yet, these guys want to claim that she is at all accurately depicted in this series. But moving on. Alright? And third, she does not act masculine. No, she acts like a bitch. She acts like a bitch. And a hypocritical bitch, mind you. McKay followed Payne's comments with a counter-argument to the sexist critique of Galadriel's warrior status in the Prime Video series. The name Galadriel is loosely translated in Elvish as a maiden with a crown of golden hair. The reason she had a crown of golden hair is because when she would fight and do all sorts of sparring with other elves, she would braid her hair and put it up on top of her head to stay out of the way. So in the etymology is the idea that Galadriel is a warrior. Oh, you mean this quote right here that you fuckers like to quote? The shills, those defending the series, like to quote to prove that she was a warrior from Tolkien's letters that only he says right here? Indeed, she was then of Amazon disposition and bound up her hair as a crown when taking part in athletic feats. Horseback riding is an athletic feat. Running is an athletic feat. Archery is an athletic feat. But you are claiming, and I want you to prove where it says that she sparred with other elves and so forth, and that's the reason why she was a warrior. This burden of proof is on you assholes, not on us for criticizing, because we can pull out every book we have to show what fucking liars you are. But you're claiming this. Point out where it says this. Point out where it says this. And I just showed you, this is the quote. This is actually from one of Tolkien's letters. This quote right here. That's why she bound her hair up and taking part in athletic feats. It has nothing to do at all, when Tolkien was writing that letter, was sparring other elves. Clarke herself has responded to critics of her portrayal of Galadriel in the prequel series, saying that her younger version chimes perfectly with the later depiction of the elven noble in Peter Jackson's famous movie trilogy, where she's depicted as knowledgeable and regal by Cate Blanchett. Speaking just after the show's premiere in September 2022, she explained that the future version of her character had achieved a hard-earned sense of serenity, saying, "I don't think you get to that level of wisdom without going through things." Well, okay, how about this right here, where it says, Galadriel grew beautiful and tall, even for the women of the Noldor, being strong of body, will, and mind, a match for both the lore masters and the athletes of the Eldar in the days of their youth. She was already wise. It says right here that she was a match for both the lore masters. So she was already wise beyond her years, and then she studied under, and also another powerful female character, Melian. So tell me you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about without telling me you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. The show has had mixed reaction from fans since debuted, and Payne and McKay aren't oblivious to what fans have been loving and hating about it. Mixed reaction is a masterpiece of understatement when you have the user reviews not budging from 38% on Rotten Tomatoes, when you have, as I demonstrated in other videos, or another video, the ratings on IMDb to show that even up until this year, Fellowship of the Ring, because they tried using that in comparison to the reaction people have had to the Rings of Power, is still garnering high ratings, and the Rings of Power has yet to match that in percentage of the 10 out of 10s, 9 out of 10s, and so forth. Mixed reaction is a masterpiece of understatement. People are not wanting to watch this. They've either don't like it, or they are just not interested. You're trying to reach not only the fans of Tolkien, which we have basically turned our backs, I would say genuine fans, not the ones that seal, clap, and bark and ask for more just because Lord of the Rings name is stamped on the property itself. But normies not watching this and just turning around in droves to watch House of the Dragon on HBO Max. As I demonstrated in my video yesterday, the percentage. Amazon Studios, they're banking on this to be a success, and so far it is proving to be a massive failure, to the point where Amazon Studios could shut down as a result. The showrunners, however, are convinced that the prequel series will win over skeptics in the end, with McKay adding that the next season of the show will be bigger and better on every level by any order of magnitude. The prequel series is set thousands of years before the events of Tolkien's The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, with Rings of Power giving viewers a glimpse of the events which occurred during the legendary Second Age of Middle-earth. No, these aren't the events that occurred during the Second Age of Middle-earth, because they only have the rights to the appendices, which include the timeline, and even then the timeline is all over the place. They're adding non-canonical characters where they need to flesh out certain scenarios because, again, they have no rights to the actual Second Age histories, and they have no rights to actually using names. Plenty of names from the Second Age. They have no rights to. So this is corporate fan fiction at its finest. These aren't the glimpses of the events which occurred during the Second Age. This is corporate fan fiction. Nothing about this is what Tolkien wrote. Nothing about this is what Tolkien ever fucking created. And if we were to tell people, hey, if you enjoy watching the series, and while I might question people's taste in that regard, I'm not telling what people can and cannot like, but if they do like this series, I cannot in good faith tell them to go read the Second Age books because they would be confused as all fuck. Because they would watch the show and wonder why what they saw in the series does not match what happens in the books themselves. But why? Well, I'm not surprised. I've been following this news. These showrunners got the job because Jar Jar Abrams put in a good word for them. Head of bad reboots and destroyer of franchises, Jar Jar Abrams, pretty much. Which is glimpsed briefly in the snippets of Peter Jackson's films. So there it is. So in shutting down the internet's sexist Galadriel criticisms, they prove once again that they cannot be believed at fucking all, that they are fans of Tolkien's work, that they are showing any amount of respect within the series for Tolkien himself. And this is what we're getting. When actual scholars like Thomas Shippey, when they leave, when they are kicked off the project, this is what we fucking get. This is what we get, ladies and gentlemen. Rings of Power is not associated at all with Tolkien. And I've gotten comments saying, it's just a fantasy. It's just a fantasy. Like, we're supposed to turn our brains off, check our brains at the door, and just accept the bad writing, bad pacing, poor world building, and so forth. Because it's fantasy. That's all I can do at this point. And the only other thing I can do is thank fucking God that the last episode for Season 1 airs this Friday, with the spoiler breakdown happening this Saturday. So I'll have a little bit of a reprieve before news comes out of what Season 2 will hold, even though I don't really want to ever talk about that. But seeing what I'm seeing in Season 1, seeing the constant gaslighting and lies still being perpetrated from not just the showrunners and Amazon themselves, but the shills and the stands and so forth. I can't in good conscience not talk about this because there's no way I can let people watch this and believe that this is actual Tolkien's work. Because people still do. People are still believing this. And it's gone to the point where it's just, I don't like using the word hate that much. I rarely do. But in this case, I really fucking hate these showrunners. But at any rate, what are your thoughts down in the comments below? Do you agree with this article? Do you disagree with this article? What are your thoughts on the series so far? Do you like it, not like it? Are you on the fence? Is it meh to you? Let me know all that stuff down in the comments below. I will see you later on Twitch. My Twitch is Jade_Fire. I'm most likely jumping back on to play some more Destiny 2 tonight, and so forth, so we'll see. And then tomorrow I'm going to try to get Dead by Daylight and add that to the rosters, particularly because it's October, Halloween month. And then Apex Legends on Thursday instead of Friday, because I'm not able to stream it all Friday evening, because I'll be hanging out with my siblings. So, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. This is Mara Jade. Catch you on the dark side, and fuck the Rings of Power showrunners.